Hi everybody, Carolyn Caldwell here from Caldwell Evolution with day 21 of the Organizing Spring Fling. Now, today's topic is about time. So another tip having to do with school-age children, and this time it's about helping school-age children learn how to organize their time. It is a great time of their lives to help children manage time. We frequently teach them things they can do with time. We teach them how to tell time. We teach them how to manage numbers, but we don't teach them how to manage their time and how to manage their time commitments. And school age is a great opportunity to do that. So children in school are learning to read, they're learning to write, they're learning to count, they're learning to measure. So they are learning the spatial concepts that are required to understand how time works. But we don't tend to teach that. And one of the first things that you can do is simply teach the children how to book their events into a calendar. One of the things that people that struggle with time usually find is that they don't have a perspective on time. They don't have an understanding of the passage of time. So when they book something into a calendar, let's say a party or a meeting, for example, they tend to underestimate how much time is involved. So even if they are going to what they know is a 1-hour meeting, people who struggle with time typically won't book time to prepare for the meeting, to travel to the meeting, or travel home from the meeting. Even if the meeting is down the hallway, you still have to put into your calendar some prep time in order to show up prepared for the meeting. Children who are school age frequently have lots of activities in their lives, and it's a great opportunity to show them how a calendar works, how they can book in their soccer, book in their dancing, book in their music, book in time with their friends, book in time on the computer, book in time on the Xbox, whatever it is that they like to do, book it into a calendar and teach them how they can do that themselves. You can teach them about repetitive things. I play soccer every Tuesday. Hopefully one day you'll be able to play soccer on Tuesdays again as soon as our social distancing is finished. Or you do dancing on Saturdays or whatever the issue might be. Those are repeated things, and you know that they're going to happen every Saturday for perhaps a season, 10, 12, or 14 events. Maybe there's going to be a concert after that, and when the date comes for the booking of the concert, you can put that into your calendar as well. And then you can teach them to back up because you know that there's going to be rehearsals before that dance concert or that dance presentation. So you can back up from the performance and put the practices into the calendar as well. And if the performance is going to be away from your home, then you can also build in the travel time. If your dance teacher says that call time or time to show up, that they want you to be available for hair and makeup and costume and whatever is 2 o'clock for a performance at 4 o'clock, and you live half an hour away, then the latest you could possibly leave is 1:30 to be there for 2 for a performance at 4. And because children are learning to count and learning to manage numbers, it's a great opportunity for them to learn to put that into a calendar. No, it doesn't matter what kind of a calendar you use. You can use any calendar you want. Digital? That works fine. These kids are digital all over the place nowadays, so certainly why not teach them how to use a digital calendar? If your child prefers to use a paper calendar, then go with a paper calendar. If you can role model the use of a paper calendar because that's what you use, then use a paper calendar. It's fine. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the children learn the perspective of time, to watch how time passes, that time gets used up, that there's a preparation for events, and that there's an anticipation of things that happen after events. People who struggle with time don't see that passage of time. And I pulled out my time tamer. Many of you will already be familiar with it, but this is a fantastic tool. This is a little clock that counts down the passage of time. Let's see if I can show this to you here. Bear with me here while you're going to see my lighthouse there. You see, if you turn this, when it starts to go, it counts down the passage of time. So if I wanted to show 30 minutes, I would put it there. And then as the clock counts it down, it counts backwards, counting down the time. But what the individual sees is the red space is becoming less and less and less. So it helps the individual understand the passage of time and the diminishing of the time that's available for the task. So my tip for school-age children is to help them understand how to use time, show them how time can be used, show them how a calendar can be used, and how they can book out their time in their calendar to mark off their time commitments. When they get to be teenagers in high school, they will thank you. They might not thank you as school-age children, but they will certainly thank you as teenagers, and they will thank you even more as they become young adults and have to schedule and things for themselves. I hope that's helpful, everybody. Have a great rest of the evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Bye now.